We've heard it was a tough one to call, and it took quite a bit of time for the judgment to be prepared. So there was obviously some difficult ground to traverse with this. Let's get more from our political reporter who was at the Concord this morning, Aldrin St. Pierre. Aldrin, good afternoon to you. The Speaker has the power to allow the secret ballot. In other words, nothing prohibits the secret ballot, and the court is saying to her, you can allow that ballot, but will she?
Well, certainly that's the question, whether she will allow the motion of no confidence to go ahead via a secret ballot, which is obviously quite important. And just listening into the conversation that you had now with Jackson Mthembu, it's quite telling as well, when he says that ANC MPs will not vote against President Jacob Zuma. They will not vote with the opposition parties to remove President Jacob Zuma. Now, you'd remember as well that Baleka Mbete is also the chairperson of the ANC. But interestingly, what Chief Justice Mogoeng has said here in court is that she must strike a balance on the interest of the party that has sent her to Parliament, but also in her duties as the Speaker of Parliament. And speaking about the powers that she has, the discretionary powers, he says that those powers are not powers that belong to the Speaker of Parliament, but it's powers that belong to the people of South Africa, which means that the people of South Africa must have the final say. So whatever the people of South Africa want must be, or must translate rather, in the courts of law. And just looking at some of the reaction on social media as well, I see that there's one ANC MP who was amongst those who were reshuffled that sparked this motion of no confidence that we currently have is Derek Hanekom. Just a quote here where the Chief Justice said that MPs are required to swear their allegiance to South Africa and the Constitution when they take an oath of office, and not to the party that has put them there, despite us, the country, having a political system which is a party list system. And Derek Hanekom responding and saying that that was a very important part of the ruling. So then the question then becomes, how would the likes of Derek Hanekom then vote when this motion of no confidence against President Jacob Zuma is being heard or debated in Parliament? And the other thing is that whether it's open or closed, and this is the other thing that Chief Justice Mogoeng has also touched on, is that sometimes you need to have the courage to stand for what you believe in. And I guess if some MPs within the ANC, like Mutola Mutshekga, who believes that President Jacob Zuma should step down, if they believe in that assertion, then they must certainly stand in Parliament, and when this motion of no confidence is being heard, open or secret ballot, and make sure that their voices is being heard, that they call on President Jacob Zuma to step down.
So what are the options now for the parties that put this motion into play? How much of an influence will the rule of Parliament then have on empowering the Speaker to determine the voting procedure?
Natasha, just lost you there for a second. Can you just repeat that question?
Well, just basically, what are the options now for the parties that put this motion into play?
Well, the faith of the motion of no confidence is now in the hands of the Speaker of Parliament, Baleka Mbete. She has the final say, as this court has indicated. And even the soundbite that you played earlier on, where Chief Justice Mogoeng spoke about the separation of powers, that this court cannot tell the Speaker of Parliament that the vote of no confidence in President Jacob Zuma must be conducted via a secret ballot, because they have to respect her office, respect her powers as well. So all is now in the hands of Baleka Mbete. However, though, the Chief Justice did put up some of the parameters which she should take into consideration when making that final decision. And one of those decisions is the repercussions that some MPs would suffer should they go against towing a party line. And some of those repercussions, of course, being that they will lose their seats in Parliament, they would be recalled by the party. But the Chief Justice also mentioning that that type of action must be counterbalanced as well, considering that there is this call that MPs must vote according to their conscience. For the opposition parties as well, at the moment, there's not much that they can do. But yesterday I saw Julius Malema, who tweeted, I think, who said that if Baleka Mbete refuses to go ahead with the secret vote of no confidence against President Jacob Zuma, they will come back to the court and argue that the decision that she took not to have this motion of no confidence being done via secret ballot was irrational, and that's the basis that they will come back to court on that decision. So certainly not the end of this matter. It will be continuing and probably come back to the Constitutional Court. That's if Baleka Mbete decides that she does not want to have the motion of no confidence being conducted via secret ballot. However, though, the Chief Justice also stressing that Baleka Mbete, even in her responding affidavit here and the heads of arguments, has indicated that she's not averse to conducting a motion of no confidence via secret ballot.
He was also quite firm on the power that comes with responsibility and the checks and balances needed within the rule of law and within government. And how much do you think the rhetoric around the judicial overreach played in his judgment?
Well, you know, with this one, it's quite interesting with this court ruling, and just looking at some of the reaction to this. I saw Tony Ngeni, who tweeted that the media is reporting as if though the opposition has won this case, when in actual fact they have not won this case. And this is the interesting part about this, that they feel, and including the police minister Fikile Mbalula, who said that the opposition who tried to get this court and tried to force this court to force on the Speaker of Parliament that this motion of no confidence be conducted via a secret ballot have failed in their bid. So certainly this would be a ruling that is welcomed by the ANC, for instance. However, though, quite frankly, though, if you look at the application of the UDM, their application was around whether the Speaker of Parliament does have discretionary power. And on face value, indeed, it seems as though, or it is factual, that the political parties, the opposition parties, have won this case. And again, this is a third case against the Speaker of Parliament, Baleka Mbete. Remember that the Constitutional Court, this court found that she has failed to hold the executive accountable in the Nkandla matter. This same court found that she shouldn't be allowing police officers in Parliament to eject MPs. This same court now has found that the decision that she took on the 6th of April, that she does not have discretionary powers to conduct a motion of no confidence via secret ballot, is invalid and has been set aside.
All right, well, so still definitely not a closed book yet. Aldrin St. Pierre, thank you so much for that. Aldrin, live from the Concord after that very important ruling was heard. Meanwhile, President Jacob Zuma is to answer questions in the National Assembly this afternoon. Several political parties have submitted their questions. He'll be questioned on a number of topical issues. The ANC, the DA, the ACDP and the AIC have written their questions.